what's just one or two questions someone can ask their builder?
Yeah, so one of the things that I would encourage someone to ask is, what are your air sealing measures? Because if when you think about it from a shell, which is your four walls, your ceiling, and your floor, if there's penetrations throughout that shell, if you combine all those holes together, it could be equivalent to having your window open 24/7. And if you have all those porous areas, and you think of it's reasonable to expect there's going to be multiple porous areas around the home because it's assembled by hundreds or thousands of pieces of material nailed or screwed together.
Right.
And they're not, nothing about the shell of how that is assembled is designed to prevent holes. You know, maybe things you can see through. Obviously, if there's a hole in the sheathing that you can literally see through, that should be covered. But it's all the little holes. And you know, contaminants from outdoors. When you think about your home as a system, your home is either pressurizing as the HVAC comes on and blows air, or it's depressurizing when you turn your range hood fan on, your dryer, your bath fans. And so every time your home depressurizes, it's sucking in through those porous areas around your home. And that could be opening for insects. It could be contaminants from outdoors, you know, dust. One of the things our homeowners comment on is they're shocked at how little they have to dust. And so if you think about it, if dust can't get in, then other contaminants can't get in either. So how do they air seal? And if the builder can't answer that, he either doesn't do it at all, or he truly doesn't understand what that really is. Maybe he does air sealing. He requires his insulator to spray foam in the big holes. But if they're not addressing all the holes, then that's an issue. And air management is another huge thing. So the first thing is they have to get the envelope right. And that is paramount above all things. And then the next thing is air management. And most codes, even though codes are now starting to push as they elevate to the ERV or the HRV, which is a heat recovery ventilator or an energy recovery ventilator. And it's really fascinating technology because if it's, you know, like today here, I think it's 40, 50 degrees outside. When it's on, it's going to suck in that cooler air. It's 72 degrees in here. Well, when it's exhausting 72 degree air out, it's literally pulling that warmth out of the exiting air. So the air actually is being warmed back up just as it passes by the plates. So your air handler isn't having to work overtime to either heat that up or cool that down. It's just working its way back into the system. So the technology and equipment is very much advanced from what we've been used to in the past. The difference is how that system is operating. And so most of the systems are what I refer to as a dumb system, and not meaning dumb in it's stupid to use it. It's meaning dumb that it's on a timer. It just push pulls at various times of the day to bring fresh air in and exhaust out your stale air.
Right.
In our homes, we have an air sensor. So 24/7, it's monitoring air quality. And so you have Thanksgiving dinner, you have a cocktail party, somebody burns something or something is off in the air quality in the room. It senses that and it talks to that ERV and says, hey, you need to modulate up, bring in more fresh air so we can bring this down. So it's sensing VOCs, CO2, humidity, and I feel like it's 2 or 3 other elements to maintain indoor air quality at a state.
That's amazing. why would you think that that's not bare minimum building code? Like, I mean,
Ye-
why wouldn't builders, is it just very expensive? They don't see the return on that investment in the upfront, even though they're not thinking about health either. Like, why just,
If I was to boil it down to one thing, I think that because our industry rewards on flash and what photographs well, most builders, and I'm not disparaging them, I would say they're running a business, and their business is functioning as traditionally all building businesses have. They're not looking forward to the livability and comfort of the home because it's not a priority.
right,
And my belief system is, and I get encouraged every time I see a news story that says, or a post somewhere where data is showing that health and wellness is a growing concern among consumers. Because until consumers start showing up at open houses and meeting with builders and asking these questions, you will not drive an industry, because you have an industry that is already resistant to any change whatsoever. And so builders are not doing these little upgrades or making these little changes because their homes sell anyway.
right,
So that puts the onus back on the consumer that if their priority is health and wellness, like you, like me, like a lot of our homeowners are, those are the questions that you would be asking. And the ultimate verifier is if the builder is actually performing to those higher levels, is are they certifying their homes?
right.
Because if they're not certifying their homes, they have no verification that any of best practices were followed, any of the air management requirements were followed. We have very stringent requirements that we have to meet. We certify 100% of our homes. So it's never the buyer or the client taking my word for it. Yes, I'm passionate about it, and I can get in all the nerdy details, but it's that certification that I hand off to them when they move in that validates everything that I told them.